Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed for a client I was working with that was unsure whether to return to a toxic workplace that was unwinnable from the perspective that they weren't able to get the results that they wanted to get to with the resources and the kind of the culture and the environment that they had the potential to return back to. So what you're going to hear is what is designed to be an empowering session so that no matter what happens, they still come out better. And where these kind of environments can be frustrating is where you're trying to win an unwinnable game. And if you make the evaluation that actually you're prioritizing those things that are within your control, and for you to be considered successful in a particular environment, your own internal metrics are being achieved, then it can take a lot of the pressure away. And then you can sit back and choose how to kind of make the most of whatever that time is. And the nature of this client was to be 100% committed and all in. But in doing so, that was leading to the very frustration that meant that they were draining their own resources. So what you're going to hear from this session is identifying a time in their life where they had that resource, where they could take on anything in their working environment, reactivating those feelings, and then having a frame of reference so that rather than feeling like they're returning to a toxic environment, that they feel like they can have their head held high, that they can return to an environment where whatever happens, they can learn. Because if they can turn around a toxic environment, well, then that's an accomplishment. If they can train at altitude by thriving in an environment which is not conducive for people doing their best work, then that means that can help them, in the present, but also in their future career. So almost whatever lens you look at it, it could be an empowering experience. And they've got the ejector seat to decide if it no longer serves their purpose, if it's not doing what they want it to do for them, or if they make the evaluation that the game isn't winnable and they don't want to keep playing the game, that the ejector seat is that they can just choose to leave that environment and trust that they will be able to still be okay, either finding a new opportunity, a new career, or even building something of their own, like a new business. So it's designed to take an unwinnable game and make the game winnable. And there are a lot of people working in very stressful environments where they're putting a lot in and not getting a lot out. And I think the nature of economies means that there are a lot of people doing jobs they hate for people they don't like and just having to get through the day, getting through the week. And I don't think that is conducive to optimal mental health. But sometimes you've got to play the position that you're in. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for building wealth, because it means that if you are in these kind of environments, you're doing it through choice, not through a feeling of obligation that you have to be in an environment where you don't want to be just to pay the bills. So although this is a hypnosis session about feeling resourceful in a toxic work environment, I would encourage you to check out my website, adamcox.co.uk. Click on the link to Hypnotic Wealth, because I have got the first couple of modules free for my wealth creation course. And I think people make different decisions if they choose to work in an environment rather than feel that they have to work in an environment. And I would encourage you to ask a question, and that question is, if you didn't need to work Let's say, imagine you win the lottery, or you have some kind of windfall, or an investment that you have suddenly becomes worth 50 times the value. Would you continue to do the very job that you're in right now? And if the answer is no, then I would encourage you to do certain things that give you a life raft, some kind of financial empowerment, so that you're not dependent on a toxic environment. Because when people make compromises as to doing certain things just to kind of pay the bills, generally it doesn't lead to, feelings of high self-esteem, confidence, and generally good health. A lot of the kinds of work I do with people that have addictions or excess alcohol or drug use, quite often that's just a coping strategy to deal with genuinely unpleasant things that they're dealing with in their life. And sometimes that is the work that they have to do. I would encourage you to think of your own working environment when listening to this session. And if it's a good working environment, then this will enable you to feel even more resourceful. And if it isn't optimal, then it will make you feel more resilient in that working environment. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel the beginnings of incremental relaxation. The way you breathe may slow. As you breathe in and breathe out, scan your body for any feelings of stress or tension. See where they are in your body, perhaps around your forehead, jaw, the tiny muscles around the eyebrows and temple. And as you slow down your breathing, release the tension in those tiny muscles. Really feel that you're letting go. And you could imagine tension locked in muscle tissue as the physical equivalent of an echo. Whatever the original cause of the tension is long gone. And maybe that tension was needed in that moment. But as you make the evaluation that you're no longer in that moment, you can also make the evaluation that the tension is no longer needed. So as you breathe in deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, allow that tension to feel like it's melting away, and imagine it leaving your body in that outward breath. I want you to use the power of your imagination to remember a relaxing day at the beach. Maybe you can recall a specific beach, the color of the sand, if there were trees, rocks, perhaps boats bobbing on the water. Maybe you can recall if there were pure blue skies or the occasional fluffy white cloud. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine staring into the blue sky and imagine something strange happening. I want you to imagine fluffy white clouds are shape-shifting to create numbers. Imagine the fluffy white clouds making the number 999, and allow that analytical part of your brain to become transfixed. Why would clouds be making a number? And then see the final 9 turning into an 8 as it dawns on you. The clouds are a giant countdown timer. So allow that logical, analytical part to be transfixed and mesmerized, just counting down clouds in the sky. And allow a part that wants change to leave that analytical part counting the clouds and to find a relaxing lounger or hammock where you can deeply relax. Imagine positioning your body in such a way that you could feel no need to support any weight. Allow the lounger or the hammock to support all of the weight. Allow your breathing to become longer and deeper. Acknowledging that the deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. And the deeper relaxed you become, the more you're drifting from the conscious to the unconscious. There is a part that does so many things unconsciously. You don't think about blinking or breathing, your heart beating. Your body can do so much without thinking. So as you imagine lying there on a beach, seeing the analytical part of you still continuing to count the clouds, give permission to fully let go. As I count down from 10 to 1 with each descending number, you will feel that you're drifting off, deeper and deeper relaxed, but also deeper and deeper to activate those same things that influence the subconscious, your memories, your beliefs, your emotions. People don't choose to get frustrated. The frustration is just a reflection of feeling out of control of those things that matter. Breathe in and breathe out. 10, just release all of the muscles there in your forehead. Just feel them release, smooth and relax. 9, focus now on the tiny muscles in your jaw. All the muscles that connect all the way down from your earlobes to your chin and back up again. Just release. Release that tension now. Finding it easier to breathe in and breathe out. Tiny muscles around your nostrils, your windpipe, your upper chest, making it easier to breathe effortlessly. That's it. 8 becomes 7. As you feel a wave of relaxation on your neck and your shoulders, melting away that tension like an ice cream under the sun. 7 becomes 6 and then 5, and just feel arms and legs becoming either so low they feel like they're going to float, or so heavy they feel way down there on the hammock or lounger. That's it. Breathing in and breathing out. And maybe they feel light and heavy at exactly the same time, and just feel a release of tension. As you now focus, 5 becomes 4, focus on your internal organs. Heart, lungs, stomach. Just feel a wonderful feeling of releasing tension. Any anxiety in your gut, just release that too. That's it. Your head just feeling like a helium balloon on a string, just light with no tension. releasing all of that tension. 3, deeper and deeper relax down into your gut, into your legs. 2 and then 1, just feeling your legs limp, loose and heavy. And then 0, all the way down into your feet and back up to the top of your head. As you can imagine what it would be like to have a nap where you dream. And imagine in that dream, you're remembering a time where you were the best you've ever been in a work environment. Maybe early on in your career. Maybe the culture was challenging. Maybe the project was big. I want you to imagine seeing yourself as you were back then. Even though the pressure was there, you could handle it. Sometimes the goalposts would move and you responded quickly, effortlessly. See yourself working hard and playing hard. And see that you had all of those resources to have an impact. And when you can see yourself back then with all of those resources, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine you notice the details, their facial expression, their breathing rate, body language and posture, and just start to mimic that version of you. If they're breathing slow, then you breathe slow. If their facial muscles are relaxed, allows yours to relax. You can almost imagine what they're thinking, the evaluations they're making, the sense of empowerment. And then step into that version of you from the past and feel like you're reconnecting with all of those resources. Feeling strong, confident, empowered. Feeling that you could handle whatever challenge life throws at you. Maybe you can go forwards or backwards in time to find evidence that that was true. A tight deadline, a time when you did the impossible, a time when you exceeded even your own expectations. Feel like you're in that moment, feeling how you felt back then, and allow those dormant neural pathways of the past, all the beliefs you had about yourself back then, allow them to reawaken, to be reactivated. You've not lost those skills. They're still there, and they can be awakened. And those qualities you had back then are not lost. They were just in hibernation. And feel that you are awakening those resources. That is who you truly are. And maybe there are people in recent times that have never seen that version of you. I want you to imagine leaving that younger version of you, but taking all the resources, all the beliefs with you. And then imagine going forwards in time and seeing the version of you returning perhaps to a challenging or even toxic workplace with your head held high. See those qualities in that future version of you, but also see someone with strong boundaries, You'll do what you can, but you can't do any more. See yourself with a pragmatic, methodical approach. That you are doing the best you can with the tools and resources made available to you. See yourself in those early meetings. But I want you to see a version of you that is ready for anything. So before we explore the timeline of you returning to a workplace, first explore the timeline where you're no longer working in that environment. See those same resources, same qualities in you, but see you deploying those resources, that work ethic, that sense of responsibility to either create something for you or to find a role, an environment where the game is winnable. And if you see that what at one point would have been evaluated as a worst case scenario could even be a wonderful opportunity to take your life in a positive direction. But more importantly, if you can see that you are up for the challenge of whatever it would entail to create or find something new, just let me know by nodding your head. Because when you reconcile that you can handle the abyss, you're not afraid of the abyss. Breathe in and breathe out and feel that you're now seeing yourself return to work with a powerful shield protecting you. That shield is the knowledge that you don't need that particular role. And more importantly, your frustrations were legitimate, valid. If you put a talented sports person in a team game where winning is relying on the other members of the team, it would be a false evaluation for that talented player to believe that they have lost any skill or talent in themselves because of the people they happen to be working with. So see yourself returning to that work environment, but this time on your terms, with clear boundaries, a clear objective, a list of things that you want to get from however long you spend in that environment. Sometimes you will see yourself like you're observing you in the future, confidently, pragmatically, doing whatever is necessary to meet your own goals and agenda. And sometimes you will imagine being you in the future, but feeling just as resourceful as that version of you in the past. But feel that you have that powerful protective boundary, that you'll care, but not if it means getting frustrated, getting angry, getting annoyed. You'll care within parameters. You'll think about work within parameters. You will check in and check out in a way that serves you. Breathe in, breathe out, feel that this new game, based on your rules, feels winnable. Every day, see yourself filled with a sense of inner confidence, knowing your worth and your ability to make positive contributions with whatever the resources made available to you. That you see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, enhancing skills that will serve you well into your future career. You possess an inner resilience that allows you to face any situation with calm and poise, understanding that you are capable of handling the very worst case scenarios. You've reconciled that you don't need this, and that's your superpower. Your focus is on what you can control, your actions, your learning, and your response to the environment around you. You can feel empowered to prioritize your needs and well-being, understanding that putting yourself first is essential for your success and happiness. With every challenge, particularly those involving people, you can find creative ways to test different approaches, learning what works best for you and your team. You can embrace the strength within you, knowing that leaving a toxic environment is within your power should it become necessary. You can feel like a fighter pilot with an ejector seat, willing to leave if it keeps you safe. And your ability to do well in your role shines through. As you think about things different, you appear different to other people, and in turn, they treat you differently. And don't be surprised if when you start to care less, you end up producing better results than you ever thought possible. You approach each day with a mindset of positivity, seeing beyond the negativity and focusing on actions that build a better future. First for you, but possibly for the culture that you're working in. Your confidence grows with each accomplishment, and the accomplishments can be your own accomplishments, no matter how small, reminding you of your capabilities and resilience. You will notice the change every time you look in the mirror. Every time you arrive for work, you will feel a deep sense of clarity and focus. Even if it feels you're moving on shifting sands, feel that the one person you can absolutely trust is yourself. You feel a deep sense of peace, knowing that your capacity to adapt and thrive in any environment is one of your greatest strengths. See yourself managing other people in the best way possible, testing different ways of communication, but see someone in control of their emotions. The moment there's any signs of frustration, stress, or anger, see that version of you taking a deep breath in and just letting it all out in that moment. Maybe accompanied with inner dialogue. I care, but not that much. Or maybe something similar. Not because you're not professional, but because you're keeping yourself safe in a stressful environment. Your conversations and interactions are grounded in positivity and solutions. Thoughts about problems shift to solutions quickly. And you recognize the value of your experience, feeling that if you can survive in a toxic environment, if you can play an unwinnable game, imagine what you can do where the game is then winnable. All of this training at altitude is preparing you for future opportunities and future careers. Knowing that you have that get out of jail free card, you have a feeling of invincibility, willing to get the upside of all the learning, all the experience, all of the resilience, but also willing to ask the question, at what point is there diminishing returns? At what point is the juice no longer worth the squeeze? Willing to leave an environment the moment it no longer serves you. And notice, even as you sleep, you rest easy at night, comforted by the knowledge that you are doing your best, learning every day, and moving steadily towards a brighter, more fulfilling, winnable career path. Imagine that you fall asleep there in your bed, but find yourself waking up perhaps on a hammock or a lounger on a beach. And when you leave the lounger or hammock, see someone that looks exactly like you, counting clouds in the sky. As you walk up towards them, maybe you even notice what number the clouds are showing, realizing that that logical, analytical part of your mind has been distracted all of this time. But now it's time to integrate. Step into that version of you that represents the logical and analytical, because you will need their help. You will need their help to make decisions, to implement, to do the very things that lead to change. Feel yourself still there on the beach, but feel a wonderful feeling of clarity, knowing that your agenda and objectives are now your own, wanting to do the best with what you have. Breathing in and breathing out, feel like you can return to the present moment with a new wonderful sense of clarity. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect fully in the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.